Hey guys, this is Josh once again with North Strand Community Church. We're looking again at the Behringer x32, going through some different functions and features. This video we're going to go ahead and look at how to set the pre and post on your bus sends. Now we're used to seeing on our analog boards, we got our little knobs. In fact, they kind of look like this, and it had that one little tiny button right in there you'd have to hit to engage the pre, which basically meant that you could send your monitors out independent of affecting the faders or the main volume to the house, or if the main house came down, your ear mixes and your monitors would still stay the same. And then you had your post faders, which usually were like your effects or maybe even your record bus. You didn't really want to mix your entire record down, so you kind of wanted that as adjustments were made to the main signal were made to your recording bus as well, and kind of self-fixed itself, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we had post faders on a couple, pre on a couple other ones. So how you do that in here is basically you look on down here, we've got our channels, and when you have your pre-engaged, see my fingers right there, the pre lights up, so you know that this is a pre. You can set it before the EQ, after the EQ, before the fader, or after the fader, which is post fader. So there's two ways to kind of get into it. The first way is kind of a little more of the generic easy way, I guess. You would just go to your home menu and you go over to your config, and when you go over to configure, that's your sends, sorry, routing. Let's get you the right one here. I'm lost. Setup, global. Okay, so you're on your home menu, you go to setup, and you go to your global. You have global. Let's dial this in. Okay. Okay, so you get into your setup button here on the right hand side. Look for setup, hit setup, and it turns into global config remote. Go ahead and slide over to your config, and then on the right hand side here you'll see that you've got your setup for your, let's try to get that in there, your post EQ, your subgroup, your post fader. You can use your little analog stick there to kind of dial in whichever one you want, like that. And so you can do 8 pre, you can do okay, so you're on your home screen, and go ahead and go to the setup button on the right hand side, hit setup, and then you're on, actually it starts usually on global, so just kick over to config if it's not there already. When you're on configure, you'll see you've got the setup there. You've got the pre, which is the post EQ. See, the EQ is still engaged, but it's the pre, like we used to see on that little button. Your subgroup and post fader. So you can go ahead and just use your little roller knob right down here, rolling this in, and you can go ahead and bring that up and down. Pick whichever one you're kind of thinking is the match for you guys. You know, you're going to know what your needs are and what needs to be on the pre's, what needs to be on post, and so. And if you see a configuration that isn't exactly what you need, it's okay. Just pick the closest one. So like for us, I picked the 10.6. That was kind of the closest one for what I was looking for. And when you come back out of it, then you'll look onto your home screen. When you hit your, and don't be alarmed, this messed me up too. Like if you don't have a channel selected and it's just like on the bus channels, see like the little pre button that's supposed to be lit up, it's not lit up. And when you hit your other bus, it's not lit up at all, even with your sends on fader button on or off when you select that channel. But once you select a channel as an input, it comes on. I would like it just be on all the time, because that was freaking me out last night, that I thought I set everything and then I couldn't figure out why the dumb little red light wasn't coming on. But don't be alarmed, when you push input signals, then those pre's light up. I guess because it's, I don't know. That's just the way they want to do it. But if you're like me, I kind of freaked out when I picked my bus sends, and then my bus sends shows that I'm not sending, you know, that I wouldn't be getting a pre signal. That's not what was designated. So anyhow, we've got the bus signal here. What we did on these, we got a lot of instrument faders and ear monitors and stuff. So we want these all on pre, because we want to be able to filter those in, adjust them as necessary, without without worrying about what's happening to our main fader on the right-hand side. If this house mix goes down, they still have their ears. If we need to bring something down in their ears, it doesn't mess up with the house send. You can go ahead and test that on your own, but as long as your pre is engaged. Now, you can also access, we had just a very generic setup, but if you go to your home page, you see on top there, and you move over to sends all the way on the right-hand side, basically through here, you can adjust each one. I'll try to get a little closer there. You can adjust each one. So you can hit your right button, which is jump forward, so you can keep sliding on down and slide onto all your bus sends. And you see I have there post EQ, post fader. So let's say like my 11 and 12 off of that one that I designated there, that 10-6. I'm like, no, well actually I need that 11-12 to be a post EQ. Well, then just go right down to your buttons right down here. You have these that dial those in for you. So you just go ahead and you would slide with these on the mute right now. So let's get into here. Go to page. Here's nothing. See that little 1, 2? Look out for those, because that means it's a second level that you have to hit, and that's this button right here. So hit that button and jumps there. That's what you want. Then you got your 1 on the left and your 1 on the right, which is your 1 on the left and the 1 on the right there. So you basically start moving this 1 on the left, and it changes it to a subgroup. You can change it back to a post fader. I apologize trying to get this in focus for you guys. Pre-fader, post-EQ, pre-EQ. So all those options you have right there. So I'll just roll that back to pre-fader. I want to adjust maybe 13 and 14. So I get to this other knob right here. I turn that back. I send that to pre-fader. Okay, that's good. That's what I want. All set. Get out of that page. It's saved. If I get back into it, it's still there. So that's how you set that up there. You can go ahead and go through your routing and your analog outs and mess around with that also, but as far as your buses are concerned, that's how you get those pre-lits, and that's how you get the post sends, and really don't worry at this point how your output, like here, your output on the analog, right, is your left and right main. But on the bottom here, on your buses, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's sending out to your left and right main outs, so don't worry about that right now. Your effects can still stay on your 16, 15, 14, and 13 without your main levels being affected, because the effects aren't sending out anything to the analog outs. So if you're looking at this and you know that you're plugging into the back of the board on 15 and 16, left and right, don't freak out that your bus sends on here on 15 and 16 are not like a left speaker and a right speaker. It's all independent. The left house is going to control that and send it out, and you're going to work with the parameters inside here to designate if you can do a left, a center, a right, or just a left-right, or just a mono. So know that your bus sends don't always exactly correspond with the analog outputs on the back of the board. That's a little tidbit for you also. That's one of the things I'm going to have to kind of reprogram today and move things back around. So, but that is how you do your pre's. That's how you do your posts. That's how you get into it. You've got your regular way of just getting into it off of setup, off of config, and you can kind of go that way, and then you can just go to home if you want to, go to your sends, and then actually just dial each one in if that general one that they've set up for you is not going to work. So that's how you get to that. That was a mouthful. Okay, guys, hopefully that'll clean some things up. That was a couple hours trying to figure out how that all works out, but hopefully you've only gotten about 8.5 minutes. All right, bro? I will talk to you all later. Thanks.